Symbols in Literature by WyattW. Introduction to Symbols. Symbols are easily the most engaging device an author or writer can use to emphasize our theme or represent a specific object or character. The dictionary defines a symbol as follows: a thing that represents or stands for something else, especially a material object representing something abstract, assuring that the use of symbols can easily increase the quality of any writer's writing. A writer might accomplish this by using literary devices such as metaphors, similes, and motifs. These can invoke many different emotions and can increase the ability to portray the directed message or theme of writing. Why symbols are effective in writing. Writers use symbols for the reader to better visualize concepts and themes, to add emotions, to enable interpretation, and finally for a more subtle approach to explain a topic. They do this to allow the reader to be more involved in literature. This grants for more connections for the reader to understand. For example, in the play Macbeth by William Shakespeare, blood is used to represent guilt, pain, and death. This helps the reader connect to the emotions that the depiction breeds as the theme that symbols clarifies. When a reader can visualize themes, they have a better understanding of the character and how those characters are portrayed. This will produce further interpretation as to what events might take place. By using symbols, the writer can also enable interpretation when subtly hinting at the theme of the novel, leaving more individual thought to the reader. This will make the quality of one's writing much more entertaining because the writer can convey something to their audience in a poetic way instead of saying it outright. How symbols can be incorporated in writing. Incorporating symbols into your writing can increase the quality by using specific devices such as metaphors, similes, and motifs. A metaphor is a simile that differs from a metaphor in that a simile is not implied. A metaphor does not explicitly denote a comparison. A simile very often uses either the word like or as. When added to writing, metaphors can symbolize emotions and attributes of human nature. An example is that fire can symbolize anger when metaphorically explaining a character's feelings. Similes are comparisons using like or as to compare two things. This can emphasize the symbols, which can lead to a theme of a piece of literature. For example, if one describes their passion for writing and says that my passion for writing is as strong as a bear, portraying the theme and helping the reader understand what the reader is trying to say. Repeating an element that represents something throughout a piece of writing is called a motif. Motifs can be effective as it can focus on one specific theme in the writing to bring it to light. For example, in the book 1984 by George Orwell, privacy was continually exterminated throughout the novel, emphasizing the theme of an intrusive government. This allows the reader to ingrain the theme in their head as the reader continually acknowledges the theme of the writing, making the piece more memorable and of better quality. Symbols connecting to The Great Gatsby. The quality of writing in the book The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald is unmatched, as his use of symbols is exquisite. Three prominent symbols in this novel include the green light at the end of the dock on the lake, the Valley of Ashes between West Egg and New York City, and finally the eyes of Dr. T.J. Eckelberg, painted on the advertising billboard in the Valley of Ashes. The green light on the dock is associated with Gatsby's hopes and dreams and symbolizes how the light is guiding Gatsby to an American dream of a more general ideal. The Valley of Ashes, forged from the dumping of industrial ashes, represents the blindness search for wealth, solely from personal gain, which then leads to the symbol of destruction that this pursuit of wealth can entail on society. The painted eyes of Dr. T.J. Eckelberg were a symbol of the eyes of God criticizing the waste that the American society has brought upon the world. And although this message is not unequivocal, it is portrayed through the characters. Conclusion on power of symbols. Therefore, the quality of writing can be easily enhanced by the writer's choice of symbols. Symbols can add emotion, interpretation, and emphasis to theme. By doing this, they can lead to a better understanding of the overall message or theme of writing. Writers can include symbols, with the use of literary devices such as metaphors, similes, and motifs. These can allow for easy installment of symbols. Finally, an example of a piece of writing that utilizes symbols with distinct precision is The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald, an author who understood the importance of the quality of one's writing.